Okay, we have another question from Jody, who asks, what is your best advice for getting started in independent publishing? What one thing do you each wish you would have known when you started? Well, okay, I guess I can start. The best advice to getting started is just get started. Just do it. And I think that's very, very important. You really have to have a sense of a mission, and you have to be driven by. And by the way, choose something very important to you that is very direct to you. France has always been very direct to me. Elections have been very direct to me. So that's how I started with the French elections, and I branched out from there. If you don't love it, if you don't have a passion for it, that's going to communicate to your readers, to your potential subscribers, even to your paid or unpaid subscribers. The one thing I wish people had told me was, just put out the fact that you're available to be. In my first year and a half, almost 2 years, I had no option for even people subscribing. I finally decided I got to do that because, look, I'm spending a lot of money trying to just make up subscriptions everywhere in the world. So, the my advice is give people that option from the almost from the get-go. But understand that unless you start to really build an audience, you're not going to build subscribers either. Substack says that you should get 10% of your audience as paid, your unpaid audience is paid. Well, I have over 5,700 subscribers on literally every continent, as I mentioned, in 123 countries. Not as many as you, Adriana, but countries, but we always hope there's up to the upside. 10% of that would be fabulous. I could really earn a living off of 10%, 500 and some subscribers at $6 a month. So, but that's not happening. So you have to understand that may not happen, but keep at it because it is very important. And the reactions I get from people um, are very important. Laura, what do you want to talk about that also? I think it's an important subject for everybody to have a voice on.
Yeah, a couple pieces of advice. One is something I touched on in my remarks earlier, is just that don't be afraid to have a newsletter about something quite specific. I think people really respond to like a niche specialty that you are passionate about, that you are specifically knowledgeable in, that they can expect from you kind of consistently. The other thing is I would look at platforms beyond Substack. I wish that I had looked at platforms beyond Substack. I know a lot of people who are getting started now are getting on Ghost or Beehive. Substack, there's sort of a growing, especially if you're writing on politics, and especially if your audience is going to comprise of people from the left. There's a growing backlash to Substack politically. You can look up why. But once you're on a platform, it really gets hard to switch to another one. If you already have paid subscribers, you're asking them to re-put their credit card details into like another site, and you really get kind of locked in. So I would say just kind of research all the platforms that are available before you start your newsletter. Yeah, those are my two big pieces of advice.
I mean, the one thing I will say about Substack is the referral system really works very, very effectively. And if you refer someone, if you recommend someone, they will recommend you back. And I get just a ton of subscriptions just from that recommendation function. I'm not sure it really works as well in any of the others, but okay. Anyway, Jane, any thoughts about that? Any,
Yeah, well,
anything that you wish you knew before you went into all of this?
well, for me, it's a little different because I'm not producing content. I'm producing an actual platform. So I would put my hand up and say Noosphere is an alternative to Substack that is very good for people getting people deciding to enter this space. But for me, I would say advice. I would echo what everyone else is saying. Don't try to offer up something that's already super saturated. Don't be afraid to be niche. But I would also say, I was on a panel recently in Perugia at the Journalism Festival with Johnny Harris, who has this gargantuan audience on YouTube. And he reminded the audience, it took years to build. And so, I do think that it's best to, if you can, enter this world as a part of what you do. Not, it's going to be more sustainable if you say, okay, I'm going to start something, whether it's my own podcast or my own newsletter or my own whatever it is I want to do, photography, I'm gonna sell to subscribers. Probably it could take 2 to 3 years, most realistically, to build up a huge audience, or even to build up an audience that's enough to make a living. So I would encourage people in order to have the financial stamina for that, to keep doing other things as well, keep taking commissioned reporting gigs, keep doing whatever else it is that you do, keep doing that. This will eventually become more than a side hustle, but it will take actual like multiples of years to build up this kind of audience. And so be prepared for that, and dedicate that time, because once you've done it, it's an unbelievably freeing moment for your career. You can't get fired. You work for yourself. It's a guaranteed monthly income. It's extraordinarily freeing, but it takes a long time to earn it.